Hello everybody. So, as far as this channel goes, I hope this can continue to keep growing and become something really great. As far as anybody would like to get to know me, I'm just going to point it out. I love bootleg figurines. I do. When you've been collecting for quite a while and you've been on a budget for basically as long as you can remember, you're going to want to buy things as cheap as you can. So even from play arts that you can get from any type of Temu to AliExpress, Shein, if you can even still get them now, to even CT toys, as far as Wolverine goes, to even statues. You name it, I've been collecting bootlegs and any kind of counterfeit toys, because if the price is right, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and collect these while you can. And today's preview is going to be nothing different, because I got myself a little thing here of a Storm Collectibles ripoff of ZANGIEF. Now, I don't collect Storm Collectibles. I don't really like to buy figures that are over $40. That's a little too much for me. So Maximum Spider-Mans, Hulks, all that stuff that's coming out in the future, SH Figure Arts, things like that, never in my realm. But if I can get a decent bootleg of it, this is what you get. And I got this guy for 26 bucks on AliExpress. And I'm actually really impressed, because just look at how much accessory he's got, even in the back right here. He's got all the hit effects, green hands, everything else. I'm gonna try to get that to show as much as I can. So let's go ahead and take him out of the box and see if this is a great counterfeit figure to buy, or if this is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Alright, this is him currently out of the package, standing pretty tall at the moment. Here's his size comparison here with the CT Toys Wolverine. Honestly, that's the same size as a regular Wolverine Marvel Legend, so that's what that's going to be. And then Ryu Jada. I know, he looks a little bit bigger like how he does in the game, but let me see if we can get one more comparison. Alright, here is the comparison between the bootleg Storm Collectible and the Jada Sagat. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a picture off to the side and see what the stats are. I'm pretty sure Sagat's got to be bigger than Gief. So there's a sense of reality to that. But compared to Ryu and everything else, especially with how big Gief is in the game, you want him to look like a monster compared to everybody else. But when you put Sagat in there, I'm not sure if it cuts out very well. Alright, so I'm not going to kid myself. I did play with this guy a little bit prior to making this video. He's got some issues that we definitely need to talk about. The arms come up. Now, he squeaks like crazy. The Wolverine I showed a moment ago had a lot of problems, and he needed a lot of oil in WD-40. If you want him to do the lariat, he will do it, but he's got this nice gap right here in between that you're going to see. The arms do stretch out pretty good. You can actually get them up even higher. This is actually, a lot of people said that this wouldn't be considered a soft good right here. Around here, it's actually pretty soft. I know sometimes Storms does it, and for whatever reason, the back on him here has definitely got a lot more softer parts to him. So that's going to be kind of interesting. There are quite a few paint issues as well, as you can see. And that's expected with the bootleg. Sometimes like when I'm getting a great deal, I don't care about little finicky parts like, yep, the paint applications are bad or whatever. Sometimes a little acetone will take care of it, or you could just make some of your own blemishes. Even with the toe hinge here, I don't know why they did a different peg. And this leg has been continuously popping out the entire time I've gotten this. And it's been a pain in the ass. So keep trying to retract that to the point where I almost want to just glue it back together at this point. So if that keeps popping out throughout the video, at least you know what you're getting yourself into. I've seen great reviews on this, as everything's going to start falling off of them at this point forward. Let's see, hand and everything else doesn't really, I don't know, for big meaty figures, if you ever get like a Juggernaut or a Bane or really big guys like this, bulky toys are really hard to articulate. They're usually good for like a few couple poses and things like that. I never had a really good meaty figure like a Broly or anything that articulated really well. I'm not sure if an SH Figure Art Broly articulates well or not. You're gonna get the elbow to at least come up to about that. For a hand swing, his best articulating part, besides his leg popping off every 5 minutes, is definitely the chest, but it gets ugly and it does kind of get caught right here in that back flap in the soft goods there will kind of get caught right up in that. So that's going to be something to look out for as well. So here we go. Bicep comes up to about this. Minor wrist articulation here for me at the moment. Neck kind of comes up to about yay high here. Sorry about the lighting. Let's see. It comes up to about that. Looks down about that much. Get him right there in the center. Toe hinges. Absolutely nothing here at the moment. I'm going to have to go ahead, pause this, and really bend this the best way I can for you because there's a lot of joints here that refuse to move. It's a little bit more of a big pain in the ass, a little bit of a big letdown, but still for 26 bucks, there's, you know, you're not gonna get a GANGIEF for that price. That's about as decent looking as this. If I told you it took me a half an hour to figure out this pose just to get him balanced, would you fucking believe me? Because yeah, it did take a little bit. I had to put stands on both sides. However, he doesn't balance very well, but if you can get him to pose, if you're like me and you just kind of put him in a pose and leave him alone on a shelf. Okay, so this has been a huge, massive pain in the ass. I'm trying to get some poses set up for you guys here, especially for when he does his suplexes and all that kind of good stuff. The soft goods really take a fucking beating. Just even get his legs to stretch to these certain couple areas here. A lot of this I just wish they did in hard plastic. Now here's the real problem, besides just the little stupid things of that. Yeah, I got the toe hinges to finally work with me a little, well, I guess barely. And the little peg on top will pop out from time to time, so there's another thing you gotta look at. I was gonna switch out the hands for these ones, so it looks like he's gonna grab somebody and obviously, you know, plant their friggin' head down to the ground or whatever. Now, the problem is to get these on here, you have to go ahead and take off the default pegs that are right here. These both just kind of came out. And I'm gonna break my goddamn teeth if I have to chew this thing off. It just will not come out and I can't really get this to move around too much. So that's gonna be a massive pain in the ass. This is what you're gonna get at the moment because I cannot, for the love of God, get these hands to come off that peg. I'm gonna need some goddamn power tools. So that's already something that's very defeating about this. To be completely fair, this thing has been a giant pain in the ass. Just even setting it off for different cuts to give you guys like cool poses and stuff. God, it's a fucking chore with this thing. He just keeps coming off at the soft goods on the back and everything else. He keeps getting these folds. It took me like a good couple seconds to get his jimmies right here to not overlap the side of his leg. These soft parts really just get beat the hell up. And they're a lot to maneuver around. If you're gonna set him in a pose, you better just make sure you set him in the pose that you actually want to put and then put it away. It's really disappointing too because I've had a lot of counterfeit toys. I've always bought a lot of bootlegs. You know, there's a lot of cool things to the sculpt of this, but God, the whole thing as a presentation to itself is just such a pain in the ass. So this has been just one giant massive letdown at this point. Again, the good things I'm going to say is just he's got some cool poses. You'd really have to work with him. You'd have to take him out of the box. You would have to go ahead and just really have to grease him up, play with the parts, loosen them as much as you can, probably throw them in some hot water for a bit. Even replacing parts of the heads and stuff don't really fit on the pegs after a while. Playing around with the soft goods, huge pain in the ass. The one good thing I'll mention though too is a lot of these accessories that come with a lot of good effects. Even this is one thing, and I'm not trying to compare this to Jada whatsoever because Jada Toys has been pretty good to us for the most part. I love that the blood doesn't even come between the scalp and the hairline. But at least it even comes with beat up animated faces too. That I can actually, you know, I kind of do wish Jada would do that, but at the same time Jada's been giving us a lot of good quality, so compared to this, I'm not going to really complain too much. I bought this just because I didn't think I was going to be able to get a Jada ZANGIEF in time, or just in general, because these releases have taken so long. To the point where after even having this, I'm going to have to go ahead and double dip into an extra GANGIEF because this is a little bit tough to chew on. I'm not really loving that purchase too much, and I think just having something too that will scale a little bit better with the rest of the series is going to be the way to go. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know, because I have, and there's a lot more here. I'm in the process of moving at the moment, so I do have a good chunk of other counterfeit toys, bootlegs, KOs, whatever you want to call them, that I would love to review, show, statues, and everything else. If this takes off, I would love to make a series of all these counterfeits and, you know, bootleg toys that definitely come above and beyond the presentation of the ZANGIEF here today. Be sure to like, sub if you want to see more content like this in the future. Give me some shit in the comments if I was doing something wrong, or, you know, obviously you're going to pay for what you get here. So hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully there's more to come.